Thank you for joining us. And here are some of the stories we're filing at this hour. I am Frank Omalape. We'll begin from the Federal Capital Territory as President Muhammadu Buhari approved and gave his support for the unbundling of the transmission company of Nigeria. The Minister of Power, Ali Abubakar, made this known at the Next Tier Power Dialogue in Abuja. Industry experts and operators in other arms of the power value chain had often called for the unbundling of the transmission company into its two key entities as the calls became loud following the incessant collapse of the national power grid under the management of TCN. After the power sector was privatized in 2013 on the successor generation and distribution companies handed over to private investors, the TCN was left under the ownership and management of the federal government. The TCN has remained so since then, although operating under some strategic department, among which includes two key components known as the transmission service provider and the system operator. And away from there now, Nigeria's inflation rate has again surged to 17.71% according to the latest figures by the National Bureau of Statistics. In May 2022, the inflation rate increased to 17.71% on a year-on-year basis, the NBS said on Wednesday. It stated in its CPI, a Consumer Price Index and Inflation Report May, that the latest figure is 0.22% point lower than the rate recorded in May 2021, which is 17.93%. On a month-on-month basis, the headline inflation rate increased to 1.78% in May. This is also 0.02% rate higher than the rate recorded in April 2022. That's about 1.76%. The urban inflation rate increased to 18.24%. This is a 0.27% decline year-on-year compared to 18.51% recorded in May last year. On a month-on-month basis, the urban inflation rate rose to 1.8% in May. This is a 0.03% increase compared to April 2022. The corresponding 12-month average percentage change for the urban index is 17% in May. This is 0.91% higher compared to 16.09% reported last month or in May 2021. The rural inflation rate increased to 17.21% in May 2022 year-on-year basis, and this also is a 0.15% decline compared to 17.36% recorded in May last year. And away from there now, an expert has provided more insight into the continuous rise in the inflation figure, describing it as a global issue. According to research and development economist Gospel Bele, he highlighted some of the factors responsible and measures that need to be taken. Bele was speaking on the background of May inflation figures released on Tuesday by the National Bureau of Statistics. He spoke on iBrand's Business Breakfast show.
We get to experience, the inflationary effect a lot more harder. So that's why we see that hike from 15% almost in April 2022, almost in March in 2022 to 17.71% in May. All right, so Nigeria is technically at the vulnerable stage of economic impact, and a lot of these dynamics has been hinged the fact that the Russia-Ukraine war doesn't seem as though it will be settling anytime soon. So global supply chains are broken due to the Russia-Ukraine war. Climate change is also setting in Vietnam and other countries. All right, the emerging lockdown and COVID-19 conversations as well in China. So when you put all these things together, and the fact that Nigeria is a very, very broken and vulnerable economy, we see that we will have what we call transferred costs, locally. And also bring the fact that pre-elections are here, insecurity is also on the rise, uncertainties as well, It also hampers heavily on local supply chain dynamics and food prices. So what we'll see is a double blow effect, coming from the global Russia-Ukraine war, COVID-19 and climate change conversation, and the fact that the local dynamics or local narratives geared towards pre-elections are a bit disturbing. So we expect supply chains and food prices and as well to react accordingly.
And now, as Nigerians continue to contend with erratic power supply, the World Bank has said the country will need about $100 billion in the next 10 years to tackle the challenge which has defied all efforts by administrations since 1999. However, as part of efforts to address the challenge in the power sector, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission NEC yesterday said effective from July 1, 2022, there will be a remarkable improvement in the nation's power sector as market participants have committed in contract to ensure the generation, transmission and distribution of about 5,000 megawatts of electricity in the country. Commenting on the $100 billion needed by the country over the next 10 years, World Bank's Regional Director for Infrastructure, Africa West and East of the Global Bank, Ashish Khanna, stated that a large chunk of the investment was expected to come from the private sector. He added that Nigeria has the highest number of people without electricity worldwide, which has led to about a 4% loss of gross domestic product. Khanna said the issues of subsidy, gas to power, as well as energy access will have to be sorted out before a headway can be achieved in the sector. A comparative basis, he noted that Ghana already has 85% electricity access, while Senegal was on its way to achieving 100% access by 2025, stressing that Nigeria has all it takes to move from less than 50% access to universal energy provision. And in the meantime, the Central Bank of Nigeria has disbursed 21 billion naira to boost the production and export of cocoa and sesame seeds, according to the bank, while reviewing the performance of its intervention schemes targeted at stimulating productivity in agriculture, manufacturing, industries, energy, infrastructure, healthcare, export, and small businesses. CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele said the bank released a sum of 21 billion under the Export Facilitation Initiative for 3 projects in domestic production and value addition of cocoa and sesame seed. This intervention is targeted at further expansion of the economy's non-oil export basket towards improving foreign exchange revenue earnings for the country. The funding is meant to increase capacity in the industry for export and foreign exchange generation. And now Nigeria's FOREX exchange reserve will fall in 2022 as the Central Bank of Nigeria plans to clear about $1.7 billion in FX backlog to foreigners and FX forward contracts, the World Bank has said. The Global Bank stated that the nation's reserve rose to $41.3 billion at the end of 2021, which offered it an opportunity for exchange rate adjustment. In its Nigeria Development Update, June 2022, the Global Bank said, boosted by higher oil export, International Monetary Fund special drawing rights allocation in August 2021, and an Eurobond issuance in September 2021, gross official reserve rose to $41.3 billion at the end of last year, offering an opportunity for exchange rate adjustment. According to the bank, direct investment in Nigeria have been low in 2022 because the nation's fluctuating exchange rate has been discouraging investors. It further said foreign direct inflows into the nation were less than 1% of gross domestic product in last year, despite higher oil prices, which should have driven portfolio investment into the nation. It added that Nigeria's current account is expected to strengthen in 2022. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Customs Service NCS says it has sealed a warehouse in Lagos for importing 4,000 bags of foreign parboiled rice, which is equivalent to 7 truckloads of rice. The NCS says the bags of rice were seized within 8 weeks. The coordinator of Team A, Controller General of Customs Strike Force, Mohammed Yusuf, said 3 suspects had been arrested in connection with the seizures. We have sealed up the warehouse. We took delivery of the consignment and sealed the place. Since then, nobody has come to the warehouse, according to him. End of quote. Meanwhile, investigations are still ongoing.